I'm going to take this skirt steak and just puncture it with a knife a few times because we're going to marinate it, and this is going to not only tenderize it but allow for the marinade to get into the meat and get those flavors going. So I've placed my skirt steak into a Ziploc bag, and I'm going to use this Kikkoman's Teriyaki Korean barbecue marinade, which is absolutely delicious. I highly recommend it. So we're going to put that into the bag with the meat and Ziploc it, and we're going to put it in the fridge for about 6 to 10 hours just to let that marinate. It'll be nice and tender when we slice it up and cook it. I've added the marinade to the bag, and I'm just making sure that the meat is well coated on both sides. And I'm going to put this into the refrigerator and just let that marinate for a few hours before we slice it up and put it on our grill pan. So I've had my beef marinating in the Korean barbecue marinade for about 6 hours now. And I'm going to take it out of the bag, and I'm going to slice it up thin and then return it. This is a mess. Return it to the bag so that the slices of meat marinate before we put it in the fry pan. So we're going to slice it up as thin as we can. Oh, that's a beautiful piece of meat. So that we're cooking the slices individually. So this is a skirt steak, and we're just going to put this on a griddle pan in the kitchen. So we're going to put this for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, back into the Kikkoman Korean barbecue marinade. So you can see how thin I'm slicing them. So you can see this is sliced nice and thin, and when we put it on the grill pan, this is going to cook up really quick. We're just going to oil the pan and throw that on there. But for now, this is going back in the bag where we had the full piece of meat. And it does get a little messy, but it's worth it. Okay, so now we're going to make sure that the marinade gets to all the meat. It's going to go back in the fridge for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And I'll clean up this mess while this is marinating. I'll see you at the grill pan. Here we have our beef, which has been marinating for about 6 hours now. And we have our grill pan here. And we're going to heat up our grill pan. And while that's heating, I have some canola oil. And I'm going to just put that on the grill pan, and then with a paper towel, or you could use a cheesecloth, anything that you would use to grease a pan. I'm going to grease this pan with the canola oil. So we want to have the whole pan greased. As soon as the pan is heated, we're going to put our Korean beef on here, and this is going to cook up very quickly because we slice the meat nice and thin. You don't want to cook it too much, it's going to get tough, so it's going to be quick on both sides. So as soon as our pan is nice and hot, we're going to throw the meat on there. I have this on a high heat, so the pan heats up quickly. If you put it too low, then the meat isn't going to cook. It'll just take longer, and the longer it cooks, the tougher the meat will get. Okay, let's start putting our beef on the grill. Now when you see the edges are starting to brown, that's a good sign that it's cooking through. This is really such a quick dish. I prepared our fried rice in advance, and our fried rice recipe is there on the YouTube channel. So check it out. This is a great quick meal. These two things go so well together. And now I'm just going to turn the meat over. Let it cook on the other side. So good. Smell is fantastic. This is going to be so tasty. And I'm just turning it again. And you see how quickly this is cooking. It's done. We're ready to take this off and put on our next batch. Again, we used skirt steak. You can use flank steak. Any steak that you can slice up nice and thin like this. You see my pan sizzling. And the pan's not going to be hard to clean up afterwards because I'm just going to soak it before I clean everything off, and it'll wipe right off. You can slice up some scallions if you have and grill them. But we have scallions in our rice, so I'm just going to leave this the way it is. You have pieces that are a little thicker, you might want to leave that on a little longer. Your thinner pieces will cook through quickly. Okay, and this batch is done. I'm going to shut the heat off and transfer this to a plate. And here you have this delicious Korean beef with fried rice. This is a quick meal, easy to make. Your family is going to love it, and it takes no time at all. So if you're a working wife, a working mom, or just busy homeschooling these days, this is something that you can marinate your meat all day. At the end of the day, just slice it up, put it in the pan, and boom, there you have it. Enjoy.